Yep, what is going on, guys? So this will probably be a couple part. It'll be one video, 2 days, 2 different days kind of deal. Anyways, so during the week I was over here helping Jake out. We were trying to diagnose Charles's car because pretty much all he's waiting on is a MAF housing, and I suppose it uses a '06 Forester MAF housing. It shares the same one. So as soon as Charles gets that, which should be early next week, the car should run and idle like 100% mint. It does when Jake's messing with the MAF, so that's awesome. But other things, when we were here, we were trying to bleed the clutch, and as we were bleeding the clutch, it wasn't really feeling too great. Like, it gets some kind of pressure and feel on it. Very light kind of feeling, like Honda clutches. But anyways, we started that, got it on the ground, and apparently it thinks it's in drive all the time. Like, it's constantly connected. So still working that out. We went through a bunch of different theories we came up with and tried diagnosing all those. And I think one of our last ideas was that maybe it's just the slave that could be bad, or maybe it's the wrong slave, which could be a possibility. If that's not it, then the trans has to be dropped, which would suck. So fingers crossed for them. Hopefully it's just like a different slave and they'll be good to go. But anyways, moving on to S14 Stoof. So Charles and I ended up making a deal. He had that spare KA24DE that was in the S13 previously, but it was blown. So I made him a deal for that. The turbo, it's the GT3076R, I think. This is also needing a rebuild. There's a little bit of shaft play in there. So plan for that is to get upgraded internals, maybe just like a billet wheel and just normal rebuild kit, and then that should be good to go. And what else I got? Oh, intercooler piping, pretty much everything he had, including the other trans and stuff, minus the ECU, the AM ECU, and the injectors and the fuel rail. I don't need those. I plan on going Meg Squirt, and Jake was actually kind of talking me into, well, him and Chase, I guess, talking me into getting the, I think it's a Meg Squirt Pro or Evo. I don't know. It's whatever one Chase has in his 240, which is sick. Hopefully he'll be on the channel at some point. Just show off his car. But hopefully it's got a lot of good features and stuff, so I'm pretty much set on it. And that's the direction I'm going to go for the ECU, the standalone. But anyways, getting back to the block. So after we made the deal, well, technically it was before I made the deal, but I sent him the cash, so we're all good. I started tearing down the spare motor. This was the same time when Jake and I were looking at the S13 and bleeding the clutch and all that. So in between, took off everything, whatever was left. So upper lower intake manifold, throttle body, alternator, distributor, starters, everything's off. So this side is all nice. This guy before was just I don't know, just not a smart guy. Apparently that's a theme with used 240s and motor swaps. But got that off, got the upper timing cover off, power steering, the headers and everything are already off because you have the turbo kit on it, and I think Charles has all that over there. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Valve cover isn't attached or anything, so take that off, I guess. Shot gasket. Let me put this down. So plan for tomorrow, actually, because I don't have sockets big enough to take these out. We're gonna pull the cams out, or yeah, Jake said he has big sockets, or his dad will let us borrow his big sockets that we need for it. Gonna take the cams out, and then after that, because you need to take the cams out so we can get the head removed. Plan is to just keep this head pretty much all intact. I don't think I'm gonna have the funds to build it, and honestly, with the built bottom end that I'm trying to do, for what I plan, I should be able to hit 450-ish, 400, 450, no problem. And then I can work the heads after and go beyond if I want to, or rev out more. But obviously with the stock bottom end and the built bottom end and the stock heads, I'm going to keep the revs down. Not go too crazy with it, but that's in the future. I'm going to work on just getting the motor built first. So you're going to take the cams out, and after the cams out, take the head off. And then after that, hopefully tomorrow, start dropping. I'll drop the oil pan tomorrow, and yeah, then hopefully get the rest of the bottom end out, crank rods, pistons, all that. And then it's gonna need a serious degrease and a machine shop. So hopefully I can find a machine shop and get that on its way, because I'm sure there's gonna be some wait time. So a quick little update: GoPro died and the gimbal batteries died. I was wondering why it kept like not being a gimbal and stabilizing it. It kept like getting knocked off the motor. But anyways, charged that up a little bit, so it's better. In the meantime, what I did was started scraping off some of the paint. I actually just wanted to see how easy it was going to come off, and it's not bad. I'm just using a razor and working it, so that's how it will be. This guy who painted it before is shot, so everything was just flaking off anyways. So that's that. And I also started taking off some of this gasket crap I was on here, just smooth everything off, get a majority of the stuff off. Obviously it's still kind of dirty, but I'm also not trying to have too much crap fall in there. And start working on the exhaust side, just started scraping off the gasket, or what was left of the gasket, and everything's pretty smooth now. So got a majority. I can clean it up a little bit better, but that's all I'm going to do for now. Obviously the main point tomorrow, hopefully I'll just be working on the motor, but you know, if I'm missing some stuff or that gets done early, I'll probably just finish taking the paint off the valve cover and then sand it a little bit, rough it up, and then hit it with some filler primer, and I'll just leave it like that until I decide on a color scheme to go for. So that's all for today. I will pick you guys back up tomorrow. What is going on, guys? So it is the next day. I just went to Tractor Supply and picked up some more tools and stuff. I actually found like this 6 set of screwdrivers and hex bits and everything. Oh. Like all these red ones, found their bargain bin for like I think 12 or 14 bucks. So pretty pumped about that. This drawer's looking mint. So that was cool. I don't know. There's all the other ones, wrenches and stuff. Nothing in there. And yeah, I'm still slacking on the sockets. But actually I just picked up, these are impacts, but picked up a set of these. But I needed that mainly for the crank bolt. This one's 27mm and I could not find it in a single anywhere. And they had this impact set for it, so I was like, screw it. And the cam gears up here, these are 24s. I needed that too. So now I have everything to pretty much take everything apart. I need to wait for like Mike and Jake or just someone to give me a hand here, because plan is to take off the timing chain and everything today, take off the head, and maybe just drop the whole bottom end and it'll be good to go. That might be, it's kind of the plan. It's definitely doable for sure. So have the ratchet and socket on, twisted it around. Let me grab this light, and if you can see down here, so on this second pulley looking thing, there's all these notches. And I mean, since I'm taking everything apart, I don't really think it matters too much, because I have to put everything back together and then I can set my own anyways. But for getting everything top dead center and making sure all your timing and everything's all the same, that second notch there, you kind of line it up with this pin. That makes sense. And then you're pretty much good. And another way to tell, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm wrong, someone correct me, but you see these cam lobes, they're kind of facing opposite each other, so that's cool. And I'm pretty sure that's how you tell top dead center, I think. So other things, there are, you see that dot, hold on, see that dot like right there? So you're gonna wanna, you know, if you're rebuilding everything, you're just changing like a head gasket or something, you're not swapping anything out, you can mark that dot and then probably mark this chain right here like a paint pen. I tried to pick one up today, I just didn't have one. There's another mark right up there, and you'll mark that chain right above. And your last one, if you can see that that little indent, let me see if I can get my finger in there. This little indent right there. You can mark that chain right below, and then you have all your timing marks, and you should be all set to put it back together. So pretty much now, since I got all that off, I can take off this tensioner. And usually there's two, but I guess the other owner guy, when he swapped this motor in, he decided to take this one off. That's actually a good thing, because I was reading on the forums that those are actually pretty prone to snapping and breaking, and then that's not good. So everyone just recommends taking it off anyways, so that's already done. So I'll probably just loosen, or just take off this tensioner, and obviously like back this one off a bit, back this one off a bit. Same thing, you don't want to just send one off. It's just, I don't know, I think that's a good rule of thumb. All my other buddies and stuff who's built motors and stuff, like, don't use a friggin' impact on your internals, just take your time, even everything off. Same for these, I don't know if these are cam guides or brackets, I don't know what the real term is, but same for taking all these off too. Take it off in order, and little by little, maybe like 3 or 4 steps, something like that. So that's the plan. All right, what up? So just finished taking most of the paint and stuff off this valve cover. I'm probably gonna make another parts run to Napa or AutoZone. I'll pick up degreaser, maybe a little more primer, and then I think Jake was telling me nail polish or chapstick or something like that if you put it on the letters. Chapstick? Yeah. So I'll put chapstick on the letters because I want these to be chrome. I think that's gonna go really nice. I do have a color scheme in mind, but once like we actually get the paint and stuff for the car, then I'll say it. Anyways, I just took the paint marker. You can pick those up at Walmart or AutoZone or Napa, it doesn't matter. And what I did is just mark that dot in the link right above it, just to help me remember. It's not super important, but I'm just trying to practice. I also marked it on the crank, so that's no biggie. So now pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this tensioner here. After I do that, then it's taking off the cam gears. Loosen those. Someone will hold the crank for me, and then can work on taking the cams out. And once the cams are out, take the head studs out, and then we should be good to go. So pretty much, again, we're going to take this tensioner off. And what you want to do is you just crack this one up top, and then you work on the bottom one. You want to do even, you don't want to just take this one all the way off and the other one not. So that's it, we're just going to take this off. There's not going to be a lot of tension on it, and so you don't have to worry about anything like going wacko or shooting up at you. That should be easy. So I'm just going to take these off, and then we'll pick you up from there. So I had Jake hold the crank, and then we broke the cam gear bolt.
Jake had to do it.
Yeah. Mikey was
you
first.
butted in and did it. What do you mean you did it? I did it.
Anyways, so what you have to do, someone holds this, all you're doing is cracking them, and they come out super easy by hand after. You don't need anything
just
after.
Like this.
And you want to keep these, with the cam, in case they're different.
Yeah. You want to mark this exhaust. Is that exhaust or intake?
This is
That's
intake.
intake. Just write an I on that, and an E on this one.
Alright, dude, write an eye on this.
You were a fucking eye. I'm busy phone.
So essentially, all we're doing is we're just marking this, and as soon as we take the cams out, we'll put them right back in anyways. But obviously, the cams are different. Intake side, exhaust side. It's pretty simple.
E.
JK. No. T. Okay.
I gotta rewrite my E.
Alright. So we got these. We're just gonna place these down for now. We're just gonna need some kind of pry thing just to loosen these up a tiny bit, and then we should be able to slide these off.
You want just?
So we just need a little leverage, and these should, I think these should just pop out. If you get like right in between there. Oh, okay.
I got like a special tool to do this.
No.
Yep. This one. Can I get the other one?
Yeah, I was just watching that cam.
Okay. Alright, so now this is off. So then, like,
shit.
Yeah, like timing's not a big thing for me because we're gonna be resetting it anyways, but I'll probably just zip tie this together, and then after this is zip tied, we're gonna work on taking these. I just call them cam brackets. That's definitely not the name for them.
What?
These cam brackets. There's an actual name for it. It doesn't
Caps.
matter. Caps, cam caps. All right.
Bearing cap.
What Jake and I are doing, all we're doing is just breaking these on each single one, and then we'll go back again, break it little by little, and then we'll be okay. 1, 2,
To me.
3. Oh, no, 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
just pass it to me, and I'll do mine, and then we should just
All
be
right.
an opposite.
So essentially what we're doing now, we're just going to take out the head studs. These are stretch bolts. You really should not reuse them. We are not going to
You
reuse
just
them.
Crank them up another pound.
Don't listen to Jake, please. And so we're going to take this off. You're doing a cross order.
And what you want to do is do it with your bro. You ready, bro?
All you're going to do, these, same as the caps for the cams, whatever you want to call them, you do it in steps. Okay. You're going to want to do it in steps. So these are going to be fucking on there.
He's gonna cut it. He never puts my funny things in. I make like 8 penis jokes at a time. He never puts them. Here, you put on it. That one wasn't as tight as the others, for sure.
There we go.
All right. So now all we're going to do is just repeat this process until they're all out, and then that's it.
It's hand tight. It's not hand tight. I can't. It looked like it when you spun it.
It's going in the video.
That one, right? That's the last one we need.
Yeah, it's like
Is there any more on my side, or?
Oh, no, I think we got them when we took shit off initially.
Yeah.
Flex head ratchets. I want a flex head fucking...
Penis?
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those weird insertion places, but...
Hard to get reach places.
Yeah. Oh, this might need a little love. We might need a little rubber mallet kind of deal. But
These are rubber mallet.
nope. Woo. Wow, those are sooty. Okay.
Look at all the shit inside, sitting on top of the piston too.
Yep. Let's see. Check a look at these. Oh, it's okay.
Look fine.
There's nice sparks in there. Okay. So we got the head
Why don't you
off.
just take the head? I want to check what's in that cylinder.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yep. We're just gonna. You want to pick up that cardboard? We'll just lay it in this bottom.
Be in all your videos doing the work while you talk, so it looks like I'm the guy doing all the work always, and you guys look like a bunch of schmucks.
All right, guys. So I cracked all the bolts. So I'm letting Jake take them off all the way. All right, but anyways, we flipped the motor over, dumped all the coolant and whatever else is on the ground. Fuck our lives. It happens.
I think there's one more in the front or something.
So we're gonna take the rest of these out, pull the oil pan off, and then we'll be able to see the bottom end, and then we can take off the end caps and go from there.
If you guys like Flat 4 Crew, you'll most certainly like BarnBuilds. We do more cool stuff with a less, like. Yeah, so watch us.
All right, guys.
Lies.
So-
Lies. I make it.
We're calling it on the motor just for tonight. I'm tired, and we're gonna be working. Yeah, and we're gonna be working on the S14 a little bit. So we'll finish tearing down the bottom end tomorrow. We took the heads and everything off today, so that's nice. Got a decent amount of work done, and yeah. So as always, appreciate all the support. Like, comment, sub, share. Make sure to check out BarnBuilds. Even though I don't know if I should put that in. It was so rude in the beginning, but
It wasn't rude.
it was rude.
Truthful.
Savage. Anyways, so see you guys in the next one. Deuces.